So as the week go by, I'm like, it's winding down to the day that I'm going to have brunch with Jasmine. So on the day of brunch, I go drop the kids off at Dee's mom's house because Dee had a client. He was training on this Sunday. Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. I get the brunch with Jasmine. We sit down at the table, ordered our bottomless mimosas. And she was like, okay, talk to me. What's going on? I was like, okay. So, and I rolled up my sleeves. When you rolled up my sleeves, you saw all the bruising on my arms, the cut, and I had like a big old knot on this arm right here. And she was just like, what happened? What happened? I was like, Dee. She was like, huh? I was like, Dee. She was like, he did that? I'm like, yeah. Dee has been putting his hands on me for the last 4 years. She was like, oh, are you okay? Are you serious? Are you serious? I'm like, yes, for the last 4 years. She was like, I would have never guessed that how you guys are. I would have never thought that was going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, kind of hide it pretty well. She was like, y'all was like the power couple me and Cook was looking up to. I'm like, that's why you don't need to idolize people like that, Jazz. She was like, I know, but I would have never, I didn't think that he would do that. He speaks so highly of you to Cook. Every time he's talking to Cook, he's always talking about how much he loves you, how much you do, and like how he appreciates you, this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, but he don't show me that at home. By the time he gets home, it's a completely different story. So I started like telling Jasmine some of the situations that I was in while we're drinking. I'm like, I'm spilling the beans. I'm spilling everything. And by the time I got everything out, she was just like, okay, so what we doing? What are we doing? I was like, I'm gonna try. I'm leaving in July. She was like, what are we doing now? We need to do something. I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how I can leave with the business or even with some money. I'm like, because all the money is in the Chase account. And she was just like, what about your income tax? What was that? I was just like, I got a little bit from that left. She was like, what you mean a little bit? I'm like, okay. So Dee was upset with me about, this is why all of this happened, about the credit card, $10,000 on a credit card, paying that off and this and that. So he used the $10,000 from the Chase account to pay the credit card. And when he used that $10,000, we didn't have our play money in the Chase account, but we had $10,000 to use on the credit card. So he ended up pulling $6,000 of that out. She was like, for what? I'm like, I don't know. All I saw was that $6,000 of it was transferred out. She was like, how can you transfer money out of a credit card? I'm like, easily, because I showed him how to do it. She's like, why would you show him how to do it? I'm like, I don't know. But listen, you go to your PayPal. Like, I got a PayPal. He got a PayPal. We had the DC Ultra Fitness PayPal, and then his regular PayPal, and then my PayPal. So the business credit card is under the DC Ultra Fitness business PayPal. So I sent $6,000, $3,000. He sent $3,000 off the credit card to his personal profile on PayPal. She was like, you can do that? You can use a credit card? I'm like, yes, they charge a lot of interest, but you can use a credit card on PayPal. You just use it to pay somebody else. But because we was a business, it's like, he was a business owner. It was a clean transfer. She was like, okay, so what about the other $3,000? I'm like, he did it twice. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah. So now we're at $11,000 balance on that $15,000 card. And she was just like, what? I'm like, yes. And she was just like, okay, so what happened to your money? You're not explaining what happened to where's your money? And I was just like, okay. So my debit card was on the account for the Capital On Tap as a payment form of method, a form of payment method. And she was just like, okay. I was like, normally what I would do is I would transfer some of that money from the Chase account to my debit card and then pay the Capital On Tap with my debit card. That's what I was doing in the beginning, and then I realized that's not good for a paper trail, so I stopped. But I forgot to take the card off file. And she was like, don't tell me. I was like, yep. He used my card to pay for $8,000 of that credit card. She was like, $8,000? I'm like, yep, $8,000. She was like, did you say anything? I was like, okay. So when I got the alert that $8,000 was taken out of my account, yes, I was upset. I was mad, but I felt like I needed to choose my battles because he paid the credit cards with the $8,000. She's like, but it was your money. It's like, I know. She was like, no, none of this is making sense. Like she was like, you smarter than this. What are you doing right now? What are you doing? You are smarter than this. I'm like, I know. She was like, are you scared? You're scared. I was like, yeah, yes, I am. And she was just like, look, I'm here for you in whatever way you want me to be. If you want to run that nigga down, we can run that nigga down. If you want us to sit down and have a talk with this nigga, we can sit down and have a talk with this nigga, but we're going to run his ass down first. And I'm just like, no, we don't have to, we don't have to do any of that. She was just like, no, because you don't deserve that. You're so sweet and you so kind and you just do so much for people. You don't deserve that. You do not. I was like, I know, but I got to figure out how to make money. So I just been door dashing. She was like, wait, so what about the other parts of your income tax? I was like, okay, so these last few days, don't tell nobody, okay? Do not tell anybody. She was like, okay. I was like, I found some land. She was like, you found some land? I was like, yes, I found some land for sale, but it's like one of those tax things. She was like, what you mean tax things? Like when people got liens on their land and they ain't paid the bank, so the bank auction it off. It's one of those. And she was like, oh. I was like, so I'm trying to figure out how I can purchase it secretly without D knowing about it. And she was like, okay. What's your other plan? Cause that you're talking about how you gonna spend money. What's your other plan? I was like, well, I'm door dashing. She's like, okay. Is that gonna give you your $10,000 back? I'm like, okay, that's not. But how about this? I can call my old job back. She said, your old job? I'm like, yeah, Solomon I can call them back and ask if I can come back to work. She was like, D gonna let you go back to work? I was like, he not gonna let me go back to work. I was like, but D does not look at my location when I'm out. Like, when I'm dashing, he doesn't look at my location. I noticed that. He never looks at my location when I'm dashing because I'm constantly moving. She was like, yeah. I was like, so I could go back to the job and ask if I can come back part-time and work certain days, and then I can like figure out how I can tell D that I'm working without telling him I'm working. I don't know. I will figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. And she was just like, okay, if you need me, just call me, girl. You know you can call me. I was like, I know, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. She was like, I'm gonna be praying for you. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Like, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, it's okay. It happens. I mean, it happens. And she said, one thing that I know about you is that you always downplay yourself. I'm like, what you mean by that? She was just like, you so smart. Like, you're running that business. Like, you're doing all of that, but you don't feel like, it doesn't feel like you are taking credit for any of that. Like, you're downplaying your actions. And I'm just like, I'm not. It's just one of those, like, things. It's one of those sticky situations.